Hello, my name is Keith Bogart, and I'm one of the instructors here at INE. And if you're watching this video, it's most likely because you're considering attending our CCNA Routing and Switching Bootcamp. But you may have some questions about it, and I'm here to hopefully answer those questions. So let's get started. Probably one of the most important questions is, why should you attend INE's CCNA Routing and Switching Bootcamp? One of the best reasons I can give you is dedicated learning. When you're doing your own self-study, there's all kinds of things that can distract you, as you well know. But when you're sitting in our classroom, in our boot camp, you'll have 5 to 7 days of dedicated learning for these routing and switching technologies. Nothing will be available to distract you. You'll be heads down in learning these protocols. So what else is a benefit? You'll also get instant answers to your questions. Once again, when you're doing your self-study and you get confused or stuck, where do you go to get an answer to your question? Most likely you're turning to some kind of online community or forum where you might have to wait hours or days to get answers to your questions. And hopefully those answers are clear and not ambiguous. When you're sitting in one of our boot camps, you have a knowledgeable instructor dedicated to you right there. You can ask any question at any time. As a matter of fact, the instructor will encourage that to make sure that you're getting the most out of your boot camp experience. Another benefit of attending our boot camps is instructor-assisted labs. You know that as you're pursuing your CCNA certification, you need to have hands-on lab time. There's no better way to learn the Cisco iOS command line and memorize the commands and what you should expect via various show and debugging output. But if you're doing labs on your own, where do you start? What feature is important? What features should you ignore? When you're in one of our boot camps, all those questions are answered for you. The boot camp labs are structured to highlight the most relevant features and protocols that you're most likely to see when achieving your CCNA certification exam. Also, you'll have the instructor right there, so if you get stuck during a lab, that instructor can help walk you through it and answer any questions that you might have. And of course, it goes without saying that sitting in a boot camp experience, you'll have lots of interactivity. Not only will you be able to engage with the instructor, you'll have other students around you who have varying degrees of networking experience, who you can bounce ideas off of, and who can give you some ideas as to how this stuff is used in the real world in their own networks. So what can you expect by attending one of our boot camps? Well, certainly you can expect long days. There is a reason why we call these boot camps. The Cisco CCNA covers a lot of material, and so in order to learn this stuff, we're going to have long, grueling days, so be prepared for that. Be prepared to be dedicated to this experience, should you hopefully choose to go. You'll have lectures and lab demonstrations. The instructor's not just going to sit up there for 8 or 10 hours hitting you with one PowerPoint after the other. In order to reinforce the material, you're going to have frequent whiteboarding, frequent verbal explanations of how this stuff is used in the real world, and lab demonstrations, so you can actually see how to configure, monitor, and troubleshoot this on real equipment. You'll also have equipment of your own, so if you choose to do so, you can follow along with the instructor's lab demonstrations. And you'll have do-it-yourself labs. Now, this is the type of lab or term I've coined that means once the instructor has taught you a particular topic, that person might put some lab objectives up on a slide or bullet point. Real high-level objectives. Configure this protocol. Make it talk this way with this device. And the idea is you have a certain amount of time to try to make it work on your own, to see if you've actually learned the material and can incorporate it into your own lab. And then, of course, at the end of the time, the instructor will go through that lab and show you how to complete it. You can also expect verbal quizzing during the lab. This is one of many tools the instructor has to do testing for understanding. The instructor will frequently ask individuals within the class questions pertaining to what has just been taught, or maybe things that were taught hours or days before, just to make sure that you're actually retaining the knowledge. So what are some of our prerequisites to attend a CCNA bootcamp? This bootcamp is not designed for someone who has no networking experience at all. We do expect that you will have done some self-study prior to attending this bootcamp to get the most out of this experience. The ideal candidate, before attending our CCNA Routing and Switching Bootcamp, will have spent a minimum of 2 to 3 months in their own self-studies. Now, in order to help guide you further, if you go to streaming.ine.com, our website, and from there, click on Cisco, CCENT, you'll see that the very first topic is called Operation of IP Data Networks. That consists of about 3 hours of videos that fall under that general umbrella. So ideally, you would watch those 3 hours before attending our bootcamp, or get a similar level of knowledge via your own self-studies of reading, white papers, or wherever you go to do your self-studies. So with that, hopefully I've answered your questions, I've whetted your appetite to attend our bootcamp, and I will see you there.